Hey everybody, Tim here with today's episode of Star Trek Voyager, Season 5, Episode 7, Infinite Regress. This was a fantastic episode. Like, the overall plot was not that great, but it was interesting enough just to see Jeri Ryan's acting ability. And I've said it before in other episodes, like, it's no secret Jeri Ryan was brought on board the crew to play 7 of 9 as a sex symbol. Like, it is what it is. Like, it's not great, it's not bad, but it's not surprising either. Like, she's there to look at her figure. This episode shows how amazing of an actress she really is. Like, for me, not to get too personal, you guys have seen videos with me and my husband, her sex appeal doesn't really affect me. When I watch it, I'm just seeing 7 of 9. That's it. So to watch episodes like this, she is phenomenal. Like, the way she goes from species to species to species to character, it's incredible. Like, I don't know if anybody else in this show could have done the performance that she does in this episode. It's so good. So, to take a step back for a second, the episode starts with 7 waking up in her, like, little pod, and she's still sleeping in the cargo bay. And that kind of bothered me a little bit. That I don't know if I've thought about this before or if I've mentioned this before, but she's been on the ship for over a year at this point. Why does she not have her own quarters? I get that she needs to, like, regenerate in one of the cargo things, like the Borg do, but just set one up in some quarters. Voyager has plenty of quarters. So I don't understand why she's still stuck in the cargo bay. I didn't like that. It kind of bothered me. So from here, we see her go to the mess hall, going through all sorts of Neelix's food and stuff, like throwing roots and berries and all sorts of stuff. And finally she finds some meat and she just devours it. And as she's devouring it, you can see a reflection of her in the glass, and it's a Klingon. So already you know something's going on with this episode. This episode has the second appearance of Naomi Wildman. I've said it before, she's great. To kind of put into perspective, for me at least, Naomi Wildman is a month younger than I am. So, like, when you watch this episode and you see she's about 10 years old, that's how old I was when this episode came out. So, just to kind of keep that in perspective of when I first saw this as a kid to watching this as an adult. So 7, Naomi has always kind of followed 7, and she's always been intimidated by her and stuff like that. Whereas in this episode, finally 7, like, confronts her, and she's like, "Why are you following me?" And Naomi's like, "I'm just trying to, like, learn more about you." And instantly, 7, like, regresses, hence the title, into a child. And they start playing this little board game, and then finally B'Elanna keeps calling 7 over the comm, and Naomi's like, "Whatever, not my problem." And 7 finally wakes up, and she's like, "I'm on my way." And so she goes over there. And this is where we realize 7 basically has multiple personalities. And she starts flipping through these very, very quickly, where we see her as a Klingon warrior, and she actually bites B'Elanna's cheek. She turns into a Vulcan from High Command. She turns into a Ferengi, which she actually refers to as Species 180, which I'm really surprised the Ferengi are that low in the species number. But to watch her as a Ferengi, the fact that Ferengi aren't really in Voyager very much, but she's so good. Like, she is such a talented actress. She ends up being a woman from the Battle of Wolf 359 looking for her son. Anyways, this all turns out to be part of this Borg cube that was destroyed. And basically, like, the black box equivalent of the Borg cube has been infected with a virus. And this alien species, who's almost been completely decimated, infected this black box so that the Borg would absorb it. And when they do, they start getting all of these personalities, and they destroyed themselves. And so the plan was for another Borg cube to come get it and watch this Borg cube slowly, like, infect others. Kind of what the Next Generation had talked about doing in the Hugh episode. And the Borg cube would slowly infect the entire collective and destroy themselves. It's a very touching episode. It's a very sad episode to watch 7 slowly lose herself. when Tuvok finally like does a mind meld and goes inside of her, and you see all of these species, the camera filming technique was a little too much for me when it was like the fish eye and everything was stretched out. Like that was a little bit much. Like it didn't quite need to be that extreme, but it was still touching to see Tuvok try to save Seven. And then finally, when we do get to the end and Seven offers to play a game with Naomi and have Naomi teach her how to play it, was, again, it's a step forward in Seven's humanity. Overall, I thought it was a really interesting episode. It was really well done, and I really liked it. For those who have seen this one, what did you guys think? Thank you guys for everything, and I will see you guys next time for Nothing Human.